So hello everybody, it's Mr. Castro here. I'm going to show you how to use synthetic division. Alright, let me roll up my sleeves and let's get going. So the first step is to put a number in this little box that we started off with, okay? And that's going to be the number that is the opposite of whatever you have in this little circle that I got. So if you have B minus or B plus, you have to look at this number and change the sign of it, okay? Change the sign of that number, okay? So we're going to write down the opposite of positive 7 is negative 7, all right? The next step to do, the next thing that we have to do is copy all of our coefficients, okay? So we're going to copy the coefficients. These are the numbers in front of our variables. So here's an invisible 1. Here we have an 8, a 9, and 16. So we're just going to do straight copy. You just have to write them like this in a straight row. Nice and easy. Okay? Let me fix that 8. So the next step is to do a little arrow going straight down. And we're just going to carry that number straight down. So that starts off with a 1. We're going to put a 1 right here. Okay? The next thing we got is an 8. But we have to put a number right here. So we have to do 1 times negative 7. Now, we're going to be adding all the numbers on this bottom row with the numbers on the top row. So we saw that the way we got this number was multiplying 1 times negative 7. So let's add them, right? We get 1 if we add them. Now again, we have to multiply this times that number up there, and we're going to get 1 times negative 7. It makes negative 7, and we're going to write that in this next empty space right there. And again, we're going to add them. So 9 plus negative 7 makes 2. Last, we're going to multiply 2 times negative 7, and we're going to get negative 14. And that equals 2. Okay? So the way that this works is really, what is synthetic division trying to do? Is we're trying to obtain something that I can multiply times b plus 7, and whatever I would get that I multiply by, if I multiply it times that, I should be able to get this. That's what division of anything means. So we want something that I multiply times b plus 7, and it will give me this polynomial. All right? Well, it turns out that these numbers right here represent the coefficients of that polynomial. All right? And let's look at what it would have in it. This polynomial would have to have a b squared. It would have to have a b squared because this is a b cubed. And what's b times b squared? Is b cubed, isn't it? Okay? Now, it's also going to have a b. Now, by the way, we don't know what the coefficient of that is. We don't know. We're going to have to figure out what it is, all right? It looks like it's probably going to be a 1, all right? Oh, and look, we have a 1 right there. Then we have a b, and then we're going to have one more number that we have to add at the end there, okay? And actually, another number. So what we're going to do is we're going to see these numbers represent the coefficients up there, okay? So how many b squares do we have? We have 1 b squared, all right? And we have 1 b, all right? 1 b. And then the next thing, well, it goes b to the 2, then b to the 1, and then this would be the coefficient of b to the 0. But if you really think about it, what's b to the 0? Anything to the 0 power is just 1. So that means that we really don't have to write it, because if you multiply something times 1, it doesn't change. So we just have to put plus 2. Now, it seems redundant. It seems like we're going to have plus 2, and that's really not the way it works, okay? This last 2 doesn't stay as a constant. What we have to do is copy this term that we're dividing by and write it underneath here. So we're going to put underneath 2, we're just going to put what we divided by, and we divided by b plus 7, okay? And so we see that the polynomial that we have to get would be 1b squared plus 1b plus 2 over b plus 7. You can practice multiplying that out, all right, if you want, and you'll see that it's equivalent to this polynomial in the blue box. Now, this isn't the only way you can write it. Of course, we don't usually write 1 times b, right? It's kind of a waste of time. So when you have 1, you don't really have to write it. You could write b squared plus b plus 2 over b plus 7. I'll fix that plus so we're sure what we're talking about, okay? So b squared plus b plus 2 plus b plus 7. All right, that's exactly how you want to express your answer. And like I said, if you practice multiplying this times b plus 7, multiply it out, and you'll see that you're going to get this polynomial in the box, okay? We'll do more practice to get you guys up to speed, get a rhythm going, okay? So, what's the first step? Draw your little box like that, and put the opposite of this number in there. So the opposite of positive 7 is negative 7. Now, we have to copy our coefficients. So the coefficient of b cubed is not 0, okay? It's an invisible 1. We've got to get used to doing that. So if it's just a variable with no number in front, that really means there's one of them. If there was 0 of them, it wouldn't be there at all. So treat it like a 1, and here we get a 6. Now we get a minus 13, and here we get minus 33. So now draw an arrow going straight down, and cover that, and now you go, drop the 1. So you get 1 right here. Now make sure you multiply this 1 times that negative 7, all right? And we get negative 7. Don't forget to write the answer underneath the next available space. So we add those up because that's what you do with the numbers on top and bottom. You add them up, and we're going to get negative 1. Now I multiply negative 1 times negative 7. And a negative times a negative makes a positive, so we have positive 7. And if I add these up, what do I have? I have negative 6. And now, if I multiply negative 7 times negative 6, I'm going to get positive 42. And what do we have to do? We have to add those things. So what do I end up with? I have positive 9. Alright, so we got positive 9. So here are our coefficients, alright? And we can copy them down underneath, okay? So how many b, well, what are we going to start with, okay? Our first term can't be a v cubed because I'm going to have something like we said. We want something that v plus 7 is going to multiply by, and it's going to give me v cubed plus 6v squared minus 13v minus 33. So what would have to come in front? It wouldn't be a v to the third power. It would have to be v to the second power because v times v to the second makes v cubed, okay? So we know this first 1 represents how many v squareds we have. We only have 1 v squared, all right? And now the next coefficient is telling us how many v's we have. And we only have 1 v, so we'll just write it as minus v. Now this 6 doesn't stand for the variable because like we said, that would be b to the 0, and b to the 0 is 1. And anything times 1 is itself, so we get negative 6 still. Then we have to put plus 9. And underneath here, don't leave it as just 9, right? Underneath that last term, this is called the remainder term, actually. We're going to put v plus 7 underneath 9 for our remainder term. Okay, so we can see it actually didn't divide out evenly. This is our remainder over here. We didn't end up with a perfect trinomial or binomial to multiply by, okay? There's this little extra term right here that I should make a little neater. It's v plus 7, okay? So that's the way this problem works. And well, let's check my work, huh? And there we go, all right? That's what I just got. Put myself on the line, all right? So now we got number 3, all right? So we pick up the pace a little bit, huh? You ready? So, don't forget to copy this number, but change the sign. So we got to change the sign to negative 10. And then we're going to get our rhythm, right? We know that we have to put a 1, we have to put a 9, we have to put a negative 7, and 26. Then we've been practicing drawing that arrow and drawing that line, right? And all the arrow means is copy that 1 right here. Now just don't forget to multiply 1 times negative 10. And after you get that rhythm going, the machine will take care of itself, okay? So you do 1 times negative 10, and you get negative 10 right here. What operation do we do with 9 and 10, huh? Don't forget to add them, okay? We have to add them. So what's 9 plus negative 10? It's negative 1. And if I do negative 1 times negative 10, I get positive 10. And if I add those up, I have 3. And then we have to multiply again 3 times negative 10. So that gives me negative 30. And then if I add those up, I get negative 4. Okay? So let us represent what we get when we divide. Like we said, we start with x cubed. So that means that we're going to start with 1 less than x cubed. We're going to start off with x squared. And then that's only 1x and plus 3. And that's a minus 4. But remember, this is our remainder term, okay? The only time you don't have a remainder term is when this is 0. If that last number is 0, then that means your polynomial is divided evenly. And that's a great thing, all right? But in most cases, you're going to end up having a remainder term. So you have to remember to divide that last constant number by x plus 10, by what we're dividing by in the first place. So there we go, okay? X squared minus x plus 3 minus 4 over x plus 10. See if I did it right. Oh, that's what I just did, right? You could double check me. I hope that's what I wrote. Let's do, well, let's see how we got that answer, all right? So let's do it again. We're going to change this positive 10 and move it to what? We're going to change it to a negative 10. And then we're going to copy the n. We're going to copy a 1. We're going to copy the 8. We're going to copy negative 30. We're going to copy negative 95. Then don't forget to copy that number down here. We bring the 1 right there. 1 times negative 10 makes negative 10. Negative 10 plus 8 makes negative 2. And negative 2 times negative 10 makes a positive 20. And then we have to add these numbers. Negative 30 plus 20 makes negative 10. And if I multiply negative 10 times negative 10, I have to get positive 100. Alright, so we see once we add these, our polynomials didn't add up evenly again. We have another remainder term, so don't forget to divide that last one by what we have over here. So we have n to what power? We have 1 of n to what power? It should be 1 less than what we have, what we're dividing by. Okay, so this 3, what's 1 less than 3 is 2. So we know we're going to have n squared minus 2n minus 10, and then put a plus for that 5. It's positive, but don't leave it there, okay? This third term is the constant. This one is our remainder term. So underneath I have to write n plus 10. Alright? And this is the way that you do synthetic division. I accidentally had a bunch of examples that all had positives, right? So let's go ahead and do one that's a negative. And then that will conclude our synthetic division lesson. So, just so that we have to practice changing the sign both ways, all right? We have to practice changing negative 8 into a positive 8, okay? So like we said, change the sign of whatever number you see in the binomial right there. And then we copy our coefficients, and remember that there's not 0 x cubes, there's 1 of them, okay? So we have to put 1 minus 3 minus 49 plus 63, and then draw your little arrow. Make sure it looks like an arrow. Alright. Oh, that's an ugly arrow. Let's fix the arrow. Okay. So copy that number straight down, and we get the 1. Now we have to multiply 1 times 8, and the answer gets written right here. 1 times 8 is just 8. So whatever you do, don't forget what operation are we supposed to do with these two numbers? It's addition. And then if I add 8 with negative 3, I get positive 5. Now, next we're going to write here the number that I get from 5 times 8. And 5 times 8 is 40. So I put a 40 right here. And then don't forget to add them. So if I add them, I get negative 9. And now negative 9 times 8 makes negative 72. Okay? So negative 72 plus 63 is negative 9. And so we're going to have to decide, what do we start with? Okay, so again, circle this first term and say, oh, that's x3, x to the cubed. So what am I going to, what power is this going to be? How many x's to the second power do we have? We have 1 of them. All right, the next, this 5 is going to stand for just x. This minus 9 It's going to stand for minus 9. It's a constant, but this last minus 9 is not a constant, all right? Like we said, if you have two constants at the end, the last one isn't a constant. The last one is your remainder term. And the way you get the bottom of the remainder term, the denominator, is the binomial we divided by. We divided by x minus 8. So just write x minus 8 under here. All right? And there you go. That's the answer for this problem right here that we just did. Should we double check? That was pretty good to me. That's what I just did. So good luck solving some synthetic division problems on your own. You can find more examples off the internet if you really need. Feel free to look at all the problems I gave you on your practice final. And if you find any polynomials anywhere, you can divide them just like this. So practice it. And you know what? I'm going to give you guys one more problem that you could practice, and I'll give a brief pause, and we'll see if you guys did it the right way. So stick with me. All right? So we got a good minus one. Oh, didn't mean for that to happen. Let's give it another one that you guys don't see the answer to straight off. All right, here we go. So, go ahead, try this problem on your own. Don't forget how to set it up. Don't forget to change that negative 9 to a positive 9. All right. Put 1 for that. Negative 18. Positive 87. And negative 50. Okay. Don't forget to put your arrow down here. Copy your 1. And I'll go ahead and just tell you guys to pause it. Right now, you might want to go through and study this problem. Pause it, work it out on yourself. When you press play, the answer will come up in a few seconds. Okay, so go ahead and press pause right now. And we'll see if you did it right. Okay, so there's an answer for you. So good luck. Okay, good luck solving these. Watch the video again if you're not sure what's going on. I'm sure if you watch it a couple times, you'll feel better about it. All right, so good luck on finals, everybody, and good job.